Hello, Facebook, and hello, Instagram. I'm so used to going on TikTok, y'all. We are no longer on TikTok right now. KSOE is no longer on TikTok right now, you guys. So this is my my re-entry. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Trina, I'm saying. But I am so happy to be back with you guys again, on different platforms. Facebook, you've always been there. It's nothing new for you. You've always been there. Instagram, not so much, right? We just been going in and out with you, but we are here to stay, I must say. This is Sewing with Moxee, and I'm happy to be back with you guys on another show. So I guess ask you guys to enjoy, and welcome to KSOE again. Instagram. All right, let's begin.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sewing with Moxee. Yeah, you can lift it up a little bit. Yep, right there. It's cool for right now. We're gonna make some adjustments as we go along because we are working on the a sloper, man's pant sloper. And the cool thing about that is, before women really started wearing pants, we got custom fit from a man's block. It was our measurements, of course, the person's measurement, whoever was getting that block made or getting those pants made, it was with their measurements. And so what we know about creating a block of any kind, if you're plugging your measurements in it, it's going to fit you. You're talking about custom fitting. So first, I want to welcome you. My name is Lawana Miles, and I am the hostess/teacher for Sewing with Moxee. And I am happy to be here with you as always. I am here sharing my over 20 years of knowledge in fashion. And one thing I love is drafting, creating pieces, just all literally from numbers, but with the fit on the other side is always fabulous. So this is a class where at Kingdom School of Effectiveness, we want you to jump into the project. So I always like to kind of recap and go over some of the tools that are being used. Good evening. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the class. There are some tools that you want to have in place to go ahead and be able to do all of these projects. Let me go ahead and turn my do not disturb on. I don't want any notifications or anything through. So, yeah, let's go ahead and recap. We always recap. So for this project, what we're doing is we're doing a man's pattern, sloper, block. And again, you're talking about when pants were first being worn, who wore them first? Men did. Women wore clothing, but there was no difference between a man's pattern and a woman's pattern. The only difference is the style that you're creating. Men are wearing all types of pieces now. When you think about a kilt, what is a kilt? A kilt is a skirt. So in Ireland, men wear kilts. And some guys are wearing the skirts over the pants, which is one of the styles that's out right now for, you could say men or women. There's a little different bottom for men, but they're doing like this kind of paneling piece. So, jump on in. We are doing one of the styles we always design with the trends in mind. And so there's so many different shifts that have happened in the trends this year. And one of them is in the fit of our pants. The fitted, really skinny pant styles are not so much in, but again, you all know what I say. It's all about your personal style. It's all in how you put things together. So you don't have to get rid of anything. Keep all the pieces that you have. And again, you go ahead and work that in your wardrobe. Take a look at the trends just to see what's out there. I remember when I was in high school, that is how I used to stay on top of my fashion. I would see what was popular for the year or for the season. I loved European fashion. So I always looked at over in Europe, France and Italy and Africa's doing their thing. You're looking at Japan and just all of those different places to see what they were doing in fashion because they are actually forward of fashion. In Europe, they set the trends and then it comes to us later. So if you want to stay on top of your fashion so that you don't ever have to really go out and spend a whole lot of money all at once just to upgrade yourself, look forward to the other countries and they will give you an idea of what's coming in fashion. And right now, everybody should be able to jump in. It's classic styles. The classic looks are dominating the fashion on both sides for men and women. So these pants are right in alignment. Women are wearing pleated pants, slacks, with t-shirts. They're doing all kind of different comfortable, easy things. You can even hit the thrift stores and you can find pieces, slacks. If you don't want to go out and spend a whole lot of money, again, it's just about adding a couple of pieces into your wardrobe. Color is always a good way to stay in sync with the trends. So you can always buy color. You don't ever really have to change, add any pieces. If you're comfortable with your wardrobe the way it is, you can always just use accessories and bring color into your wardrobe. And that's for men or women. Shirts are always something that men need in their closets, always need a new shirt. So go get you a new shirt with the colors that are popular right now and you're in trend, right? You're on trend. Same thing with women. You can always go get t-shirts that are the colors for the season and you are in trend. And then of course, when you put it all together in your fabulous way, people are just going to do they're not going to say very much. They're going to admire your personal style. Black never goes out of style, right? So comfort and style, your personal style. And today we are all about comfort. So thank you for that. Cause I'm like, why is it a little dark over there? So, we're going to go ahead. Last week we got started on the man's pattern. I am, teaching the block from this men's tailoring book here. This is a book that I got when I was in school, and the PANT block is a series of simple shifts. What's most important are the measurements. Once you have the measurements down pat, then you're pretty set to go forward. So let me get my tape measure. I'm going to recap the measurements that we needed to take. Good evening to everyone watching again. But for this block, for this project, there's only 4 measurements that you'll need. You'll need your circumference measurements of the waist and of your hip. What circumference? It around the body. So your tape measure is one of the main important tools, right? Because again, it's all about your measurements. If you get those measurements right, your personal measurements right, or whoever you're doing the piece for, if you get those measurements right, then all it takes is again, a series of steps to get you to the final block. And we're going to finish going over that today. So again, waist measurement. Your waist measurement, you're going to measure where you want the pants to hang. So in a pair of slacks, they're usually more at a relaxed place. We know that we can go high waist. High waist is more up in here. Most people think their waist is at their navel, but that's actually not your waist. If you've been to the side, wherever that crease is, that is where your natural waist is. Usually your natural waist is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches above your navel, believe it or not. But the smallest portion in between your torso and the bottom half, your waist, your hips, is your natural waist. So you want to get that natural waist measurement, or again, where you want those pants to lay. So since we have to add a waistband, you want to make sure that the waistband is wherever the waistband is. And so I want my waistband to be about right in here. So I'm going to make sure that I take my measurements. I'm going to come down a little bit. So this is my relaxed fit area. So I took the measurement. My measurements happen to be 35 for my natural waist. Let me pull my numbers up over here. Your hip measurement is going to be generally 8 inches down, 9 inches if you're measuring from your natural waist, but 8 to 9 inches. But if you have, again, your pants at that natural, like right at your navel, that natural hang, then if you measure 8 inches down from there, that's going to be your hip area. And why do you need to know that? Because you need to know where to put your tape measure. But I'm going to help you with something even to make it even a little bit easier. You want that tape measure to be coming around the widest part of your hips and behind. You want to capture everything. Your hips, your behind, and you want to make sure that it is right at the fullest part, right? And so then that's going to be your measurement, okay? So want to mark that so that you have your waist, you have your hip, and then now you're going to need your crotch depth. I'm going to show you the book because it's easier for me to show you how to capture your crotch depth measurement than it is for me to show you. Now, I will say, when you take this measurement, you need to be on a hard surface. It cannot be a soft surface. Why can't it be a soft surface? Because when you sit down, you sink, your behind sinks into the seat. And so it's not going to give you an accurate measurement. So you want a hard surface to measure, and you're measuring from your waist point to the seat, all the way to the bottom. And that's going to be your crotch depth. What is that? The crotch is here. It's this line in here. And so the pants need to be a certain distance drop. Okay, so that's important to have. And then the final measurement that we're going to need is your full pant length. That is, how long do you want the pants? So the pants coming from, if you're going to do a full length down to your ankles, then you're going to take the tape measure and you are going to literally walk it down the side of your pants. So again, starting at where you're going to have your waistband, and then you're going to literally walk the tape measure down. I know y'all can't see me behind the table. I'm putting my leg up here so you can see a little bit better. But you're going to keep going down until you get all the way to the bottom. Just keep going down until you get to the bottom. And you don't want to bend over. You don't want the tape measure to move in the middle of you taking the measurement. So again, you're going to walk it down the side. So you're going to hold it in place. I'm going to show you one more time. I'm not going to put my leg back on the table again, but we're going to have the tape measure here. Then we're going to hold it, then move. Hold it, and then move. Hold it, and then move. And that all the way down to the length that you want. My suggestion, since this is a block, you want to take it down to the farthest point, which is going to be either the bottom of your foot or it's going to be your ankle, okay? Because you got to think about it. This is a block, and what do you do with a block? You take the block, and then you use that to create whatever style pant you want. That's the whole science. It's a pattern, a basic pattern. That's what a block is. It's a basic pattern. And when you're using your measurements to incorporate in this block, then you can use that block to make anything you want. You can literally add some side seam and actually wear it just like that. Put a waistband on, you're good. So a zipper. You don't even, depending on what material you have, you can do a side zip. You can do a back zip for women. For men, of course, you know the zipper's generally in the front. You can do just straight buttons. We know Levi's has what? A button fly. So that's the way you can do it as well. So that is the measurements that we'll need. Again, 4 measurements. Your waist, your hip. Again, men have hips too. So let's get tricky with that. But waist, your hip, with your circumference measurements, you're measuring around the body with the tape measure. And then you're doing your crotch depth. We showed you how that measurement is taken in a seated position on a hard surface from your waist, from where you want the waistband to be, down to the seat, the seated part. And then you're also going to need your length, your full length measurement on the side. So last week we went ahead and I got started on taking the measurements, and I'm just kind of gonna show you all. I've actually already have gone ahead on my first sample, and I have finished the front because I wanted to walk through all of the steps before class. So I've already done this piece and got the first part of the block done. But today, this is what it would look like. This is where we're starting. And I can show you from the book. Let me use the book a little bit. We're going to pull you a little bit closer, Instagram. All right. So let me take you to where we are today. Where are you? What page are we on? Here we go. So last week, these are the steps that we made to be able to get the block, the part that we're at. We did this whole series of first shifts. And so we ended here with this grid. And it's very, very simple. I guess I can run back through. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time going over the steps. I wanted to kind of continue forward. But just to kind of catch you all up to get this grid, I'm going to, I guess, run back through the measurements. One thing I will tell you, you're going to have to divide your waist and your hip measurements into 4s. And we talked a little bit about that last week. You can use your good cheat sheet, your calculator. Everybody has a calculator on their phone, so don't talk about my calculator, a real calculator, okay? But everybody has a calculator on your phone. So whatever your waist measurement was, you're going to put that number in there, divide it by 4, and then that's going to be your answer. Now, the trick is, do you know how to translate decimals into fractions? Yeah, you went back to school a little bit there. Took you back to what, about 3rd or 4th grade? No, not 4th grade. Fractions. When did we do fractions? Was that in high school or was that like in 8th, 9th grade? I can't remember exactly when that was. But there's some simple fraction work. And there's still a cheat sheet for that. If you go online and you pull up how to translate decimals into fractions, it'll actually give you that. It'll give you a conversion chart that you can use to kind of see where you're going, right? But just to help you out a little bit, give you some points. So I wish this was bigger, but it's not. But you can see an inch is from here to here. It's a very small space, right? But in between there, you have what? 1/2 of an inch. Let me get it closer to the screen so you guys can see it. You see that mark right there in the middle? That's 1/2 of an inch. That's 1/2 of the inch. That's 11, 11.5. That middle line right there, right? So if you broke that half down, let's think money, right? You have $1. Half of that is what? 50 cents. Then 1/4 of that dollar is what? 25 cents. Then 3/4 of a dollar is what? 3/4 is 75 cents. Mm-hmm. So when you are translating the numbers into decimals, it's going to say, just hypothetically, it's going to give you maybe 8.5 when you divide the number. That was the number that I got. That was my 4th for my hip. 43 inches was the total. 8.5 was the breakdown. Let me make sure I'm not saying that wrong. But anyway, 8.5 was the measurement, right? And so on my calculator, it looked like 8.5. Okay, 8.5. That's half of the way through that inch mark. Okay, so if it's 8.75, then you know that you're at the 3/4 mark. Where's the 3/4 mark on a tape measure? Let me show you again. If you're looking at an inch, here, the 3/4 mark is going to be right here. See that line? Right here. Half is here. 3/4 is right here. Half is here. That big line in between, the next largest line. And then this line here is 3/4 of an inch, which would equal 3.75. Or, 8.75 if we were looking at my measurements. So, again, it's just a little bit of math. It's not very much. And you can always go back and replay this video so that you can get clear on that. You can always call me if you have my number. You can hit me on Messenger if you want to ask the question, and I can help you get to the bottom of your answer. We can go ahead and go over your measurements individually, and I can help you break it down so that you can get this project done. It is not too late to jump into this project. The first video I have already downloaded. It's on my page, LaWanna Michelle Miles. on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll go ahead and KSOE. You're going to go to KSOE, and I'll make sure that Trina has that link so that you can pull that up. And it goes through everything I did for step 1 to get to where I am so far. So I always like to keep people in the loop of things, so I kind of feel funny just moving forward. But I got to keep going, right? So that we can get this project done. Because at the end of the day, some of y'all, all y'all want to see is the finished product. You don't even care about this part of it. But for those of you who are actually interested in jumping in for yourself, if you actually want to jump in and do the project for yourself, there's nothing to stop you except you. So you can always get the link. You can always reach out to KSOE on Instagram, to LaWanna Miles, until I create a page on Facebook for Sewing with Moxee. You can reach out to me or go to my page. It's right there. You can share it. You can check it out. Okay, so on Facebook. KSOE is on Facebook as well? Okay, well, KSOE is on Facebook as well. So even those that are on, some people, if they want to be on Instagram, you'll still wind up putting it on there as well. So I don't want anyone to feel left behind. I don't want anybody to feel like this is a daunting project, because the end result is priceless. If you think about if you had somebody make you a pair of custom pants or make you a piece, you're going to pay about $200. Whereas if you do it for yourself, you'll save yourself some money and you'll be able to pick whatever fabric you want. And then if you do this block for yourself and you like the way it turns out the first time, then you can always duplicate and make more of that style of pant. And who does not love trousers? Women still rock suits. Men and women wear suits. So these slacks, again, is more of a unisex appeal. Right now in fashion, you have men and women that are wearing a tailored slack. And they're wearing it in casual ways. They're wearing suits with t-shirts. And so you go ahead and, again, it's all about your personal style. Don't ever be intimidated to rock you. So that's my spiel. So I hope you jump in. I hope that you're encouraged enough to jump into the project and begin to do some things for yourself. So let me go ahead. Let me show you. Again, we ended with this grid. And I'm just going to run through it real quick because I feel like I need to. And then we'll pick up. And then next week, I'm just going to keep going because today I want to go ahead and finish the back and the front slack. And one thing that you'll notice is that as the pattern continues to develop, at the end, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this because you're going to have the front and the back that you're creating all together in one space. And then you're going to have to separate it. So let's go ahead and get back. Let's go ahead and run over the numbers. Let me bring you closer. Bring you closer, closer, closer. Let's get Instagram closer, closer, and closer. Just so we can talk about, hash out the numbers. All right. So I'm going to have a seat. Again, glad to be with you guys tonight. It's a little warm right now. Got good heat in my apartment. All right. So I don't like the way Instagram is sitting.
Can they see you?
So, all right. Well, they can see my face right now. And I'm going to use the book and I'm going to hold the book up as much as I possibly can as we talk through this. There is a slight glare. Hold on one second, you guys. I just want to make sure that everything is good. Okay, that's better. All right. So, going back to step 1, my glasses. Where are my glasses? Hold on one second, y'all. Somebody play some music, some Jeopardy music or something while I get my glasses. Just to let you know I'm still here. And I'm back. All right. Thank you for your patience. Okay, I had to get my trusty glasses. Now I got to make sure they're clean. I got fingerprints all over. But it's okay. That means I use them. Okay, so All right. A was the waist. I'm going to try to position you guys so I can talk and walk through this. And I want to just thank you guys for being patient with me. This is something new that I'm doing. Never done anything like this before. But how do you know if you can do it if you don't jump in, right? So we're in this. We in here now. So I'm going to angle you down to the paper. Uh-oh, Trina. You got to...
What happened?
It's falling.
It's on paper?
Oh, that might be good. That might have worked. Okay, so here we are. Let me get this out the way because I don't want you guys to get confused. This will be a perfect time for Trina to do her pen.
I am shooting right now, ma'am.
Okay, well, she is not going to do the project right now. So let's just go ahead and get through it. Okay, so hopefully you can see. Hopefully you can see. Let me bring you closer. Let me shed some more light on the situation. Okay, so step one was to take your waist and your hip measurement, and you needed to divide it into 3/4. And so when I divided mine into 3/4, let me go to my notes so that I can be accurate. Okay, so my waist, when I divided into 1/4, it was 8.5 inches for the waist, and it was 10 3/4 inches for my hip. So in the pattern, if you pay attention to the book, if you take a look at this, it's literally this long line here. What do you think that line is? That's the first line from A to B. You're just drawing a straight line from A to B. Well, that would be what? Your full length measurement from A to B. Okay. So mine was 43 inches or 44 inches. So of course I drew my line for starting here is going to be 0. And then of course ending at 43 inches. I have tools that I use. A yardstick, if you have a yardstick, if you actually want to jump in and start doing some pieces, because again, I take you from the beginning to the end. And so sometimes there will be some pattern drafting involved. I try and make it as simple as possible, but you guys are intelligent folks. And this is really step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and they're very easy. Okay. So again, A to B is going to be a straight line. For you who may not have a ruler, or if you even have like a regular, a shorter ruler, like your kid's ruler at school, you can get you a couple of rulers and tape them together to make you one long ruler. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You got to think outside of the box when you don't have all the tools, unless you're interested in purchasing the tools. I keep saying that I'm going to put some information on here. I know everybody is kind of sour about Amazon right now, so you may not want to be going on Amazon and ordering, but wherever it is, you still got eBay, you got other places, or you still have Amazon if that is your choice. So let's keep going. A to B is your full length measurement. My full length measurement from my waist down to my ankle was 44 inches. So I drew the line from here to here, right? This is your waist measurement. This is the top of the pant. So this is your waist measurement. This is not even counting the waistband. Okay. Let me lift you up a little bit, Instagram. So you're not even counting the waistband on here. This is just strictly your waist measurement. So 8.5 inches. So I measured over from the line, from the 0 point across 8.5 inches. This line, the next move, because again, you see it's letter. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So these are the steps, and we're going in order. Again, is a straight line going from your waist to your hem. You could call this the 0 line, and then you're ending at 43 inches. Then the next step it asked for you to do was to measure. Hold on. Let me get this right. Let me get to the right place. Okay. So A to B was your full length. A to C is your crotch depth. So we talked about the crotch depth measurement a little bit earlier, and we talked about it being when you're in a seated position, measuring from your waist, wherever your waist is going to start, down to the seat. You're going to be seated on a hard surface so that you can get an accurate measurement. If you're sitting on something with cushion, you're going to sink into the seat, and it's not going to be an accurate measurement. And you need it to be, you don't want your crotch to be too short. I guarantee you that. Okay? It won't work. So A to C is going to be that crotch depth. And mine was about 10 inches. So I measured from A, 0, down to C, which was 10 inches. Okay, so now we're going to go to C to D, right? A, B, C, D. So they're asking you to C to D is going to be 1/3 of A to C. 1/3 of A to C. So if we think about 10 and we divide 3 into 10, that's going to give you what? Approximately 3 inches, right? So 3 inches, and then you've got a little overflow, right? Because you've got a whole nother inch to filter into that third. So if you think about it, it's going to land about 3/8 of an inch. 3/8, 3/8, 3/8 will get you close to that full inch. Okay, so I measured down and then I fudged it a little bit, y'all, because who wants to be figuring out the numbers for a 1/16 of an inch? If you're off a little bit from a 1/16, you don't want to be shorter. You can be either at or a little bit over. So my measurement here wound up being 3, and I think I did 3 5/16. Okay, for this measurement from here to here. And you're going to be measuring from C up to D. Then you're going to go to the next letter. So that's A, B, C, D. Now you're going to go to E. How do you get to the E measurement? E measurement equals 1/2 of C to B. C to B. You're going to measure the distance here. Mine was 33.5 inches. Divided that in half. And I think it was like 16.5, 16 5/8. Okay. And so then I marked E. Then to get F, you're going to measure 2 inches above, 2 inches up to get the F measurement, which is your knee measurement. So you see it kind of coming to life. Your hemline, your knee mark, your crotch depth. This is where your zipper is going to go. Somewhere in here, right? Your crotch depth. And then this is your waist, right? So let's get to the next one. So now we got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you see G is across this line. This is your crotch depth. And so the rest of the measurements to finish off the first steps of this block is all in here. These are the last 3 moves that we have to make. G, I, and H. Okay, so let's go ahead. And how do you get to G? So let me go down. F is 2 inches above E. Then it tells you to square a line. How do you square a line? Squaring a line is a straight L, 90-degree angle. So I have a L curve. What's this thing called? I done lost my mind just went out the window real quick. Ruler? Well, we can call it L-shaped ruler. We just gonna call it that right now. My brain, I don't know where my brain just went. L square. L square. This is an L square, y'all. Okay, I'm back. This is an L square ruler. Again, what you should notice is the 90-degree angle. That's what's important here right now. You're going to do a 90-degree angle. And so it's telling you to square out from each letter across to create the line. And so again, you're going to place your ruler on the line here to come across, to come across, to come across, to come across, even from your waist. It would be flipped around. Let me use a different tool. A triangle, so you guys can see, but you still what? A triangle has a 90-degree angle, right? Which is a perfect L, okay? And so the waist, you're going to lay the ruler in here like this, and you're going to draw that top waistline, right? And then, of course, you're going to make your marks. So if this wound up being 8.5, you're going to mark on there 8.5. At the 8.5 mark, you're going to mark it from the 0 line, right? D, you see, just comes across. There's nothing there, right? It'll make sense later. about D. Okay. So let's look at, again, we're looking at G. So C to G. C to G equals 1/4 of the hip. Remember, I told you would have to divide your waist and your hip into fourths. So 1/4 of your hip, whatever that number would be. For me, it was 10 3/4. So I am going to take the 10 3/4 and I am going to come across my C, across from C to G. This is 10 3/4. Okay? You see it's a little extension over here, but this is coming in a step later. But nonetheless, you're going to mark G, 10 3/4. That was for me. I don't know what it is for you. What would it be for you? And what you can do, again, if you're interested in jumping into this project, if you look at the first video that is on my page, I go through everything up to this point. And I even go into more detail about how to translate your measurement into fourths. Because what you're looking at when you're looking at a pattern, you're only looking at 1/4 of the body. Unless even if there's a fold line, you're only using 1/4 of the pattern, half of your front and half of your back, and one sleeve if you're doing a top or something like that. But we're focusing on pants. Let me not throw a sleeve in there. There's no sleeves on pants. Okay, so let me keep focused here. Okay, so let's go ahead. We've got our measurement. 1/4 it gives you G. All right. And so I equals H, I'm sorry. G to H. G to H. So you see now the line is extending back. G to H. So G to H equals 1/4 of C to G. Okay, so C to G is this measurement. And what was the number? It was 10 3/4 for me. I don't know what it is for you. Again, it's 1/4 of your hip. So if you divide that into 4, you can use, again, your calculator, and you can take the number, let's say, for example, 44 divided by 4 is going to give you what? 11 inches, right? So 44 is your, 11 inches would be your 1/4 of a hip that was 44 inches. Okay, I'm giving some easy numbers so we can kind of break this down and keep moving. Okay, so C to G equals 1/4 of C to H. Okay, forgive me, y'all. I'm reading this upside down. So let me do that again. G to H equals 1/4 of C to G. So C to G, you divide 11 into 4. So if you break that down to a fourth, whatever your fourth is of 11, that is going to be the measurement from G to H. Then you're going to mark that, okay? If you notice, there's hash marks across those lines. So that means that these are important marks for you to remember, okay? And then now the final measurement is going to get to letter I. That is the final of these first moves to get to this point, which is where I ended last week. So to get to I, it is going to be half of C to H. So now you're going to measure all the way from here to H, from C to H, and whatever the half mark is, half of that measurement, that's how you're going to come up with I. And the exciting part of this is I represents the crease line. Wow. To kind of give you some ideas of how close you are to getting this pant pattern down the road, right? So this is the front pant pattern pretty much already mapped out. Now the next steps we're going to step on, and I'm going to be doing this live with you tonight, is this part. We're going to be finishing up this front pant pattern, and then we're going to be flipping over. You'll see the crotch line come into play, the hip line come into play, and then we'll start on the back. Now, once we get to the back, that's a whole nother set of measurements, but it's being done right on top of the front pant pattern. So it's not that many steps different. It's actually very easy. If you make these shifts properly, you'll have a completed pant sloper, man's pant sloper. And I'm saying men, but if you are a woman and you're measuring yourself and you're putting your own numbers in there, then guess who's going to fit? It's going to fit you. So that's what I want you all to be clear about. Again, when you're talking about historically, men were the ones that wore pants. So when we started wearing pants, it was a man's pattern that we were wearing the pants from. Wow. If a woman got a pair of pants made, okay, now I'm going to take y'all back. Y'all remember the color purple? Y'all remember color purple? Okay, there was a scene on the color purple where at the end, this is falling. You got Miss Seeley, who started her own pants store, her pants shop, a tailoring shop. She sure did. And so what pant pattern was she using? What block was she? She was using a man's pant pattern. But you saw all the women rocking the pants. So that's the kind of, I want you to kind of think there. Fashion doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter the silhouette. Once you get the measurements, then it's whatever you making. If the measurements are yours, then guess who's going to fit? It's going to fit you no matter what you do. So it doesn't, I call it unisex when it comes to slacks. Later on, and they evolved and started doing more with women specifically, designers started creating all sorts of styles. And then that's when it was like, oh, okay, well, we don't want to wear those. Okay. But men and women really, we started off wearing the same type of pant. So, and right now the trends are slacks and trousers and things like that. And we can all rock those. So let's go ahead and get to part 2 of working this pattern out. We are going to finish up the front pant pattern. And again, like I said, I had already started working on it just to kind of show you guys. I've already carved out the crotch area, the hip area. All of that's already been marked out. And so with these next steps, we'll be able to get to this final front pattern. And then from there, we'll be taking it over to doing the back pattern. So let's get started. Thank you for going with me through this recap. That took a long time to me, but hey, it's okay. You got to do a recap. Got to do recap. So let me get myself readjusted here, get my tools, get you guys situated. Trina, you can just bring that over to the table. I'll put my book here. Get my rulers, pencil. Most of the work that I'm going to be doing for today is going to be toward the top again, because the pant leg is the pant leg. Okay. It's just a straight, it's really a rectangle shape. It's really a rectangle shape. So it's not very much to do at the bottom of the pattern. So I'm going to be doing most of the work towards the top right now to finish carving these pants out. So I'm going to kind of position and adjust you guys to be able to see this upward shot. So y'all bear with me while I'm trying to figure this all out.
Is it adjusted?
Huh?
Is it adjusted?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. I'm just working it as I go along. It's cool. I'm going to move it around a little bit. I can't believe it's already 6:44.
Is it?
Yes. Time is flying. And I haven't even gotten started, but I'm going to keep going until I get this front pattern done, you guys. So we may be here a little bit until after 7 o'clock. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of the recap. I'm trying to navigate on how to make this thing flow nice and easy. Okay, Facebook. I don't know if you guys can see so well, but we're at the top of the pattern. And this stuff is really not that clear. You can't really see my pencil marks on here. All right. All right. So Okay, let's go to the next set of steps. So now we've got our grid out. And so now we're going to locate KJ, square up and down. Okay, so let me just kind of bring this to your attention. Let me get the book close so you guys can see. All right. I'm just going to walk you through these steps here. So to get this fleshed out, to get this part fleshed out here, literally all you're doing is kind of connecting the dots. Okay? So we're going to see how well I'm able to do this. All right, Heavenly Lord. All right, so the next set of steps are going to be down here. And it says you want to locate K and J. So let's find K and J on the grid. K and J, here's K. And then here's J. And so literally it is a parallel line to A and B. So all you're going to do after you get, again, we left off here. We have C, I, G, and H. The first step is to locate K and J. So you're going to literally be drawn, after you find I, then we're going to be taking our ruler and we're going to be drawing a straight line, a parallel line. What is a parallel line? A parallel line is a line that runs equally alongside of another line. So it's a direct hit in the middle. So whatever the distance was from here, it's going to be the same distance from here. It's going to be the same distance to here, same distance to here. And that's how you're going to find K and J. Okay? So now, how do you find out that distance? So what I did was I measured from I to C. This measurement right here, from I to C. And whatever the measurement is here, let's just hypothetically say it's 6 inches, right? So now I'm going to measure from here to D over 6 inches, from A over 6 inches, B over 6 inches. And then I'm going to what? Match the dots. I'm going to line it right on up. Okay? That's going to give you your crease line. Then we're going to locate, square up from G to L. G to L. Now you see L's right here. You see L is right here. Across the waist, that last little line, if you square up, you are literally, again, we're talking about a 90-degree angle. You're going to use G to measure up 90-degree angle at a 90-degree angle to find the letter L. That's going to give you the top of your crotch. This part here in your pant, the zipper part here, this is the line that we're creating right now. G to L is giving you the beginnings of the crotch. So, G to L. And then you see O. Let me just follow the grid. Let me not move around. Okay, so now connect O to H. O to H. O to H. Now, one thing that they didn't show in this in the step is how do you come up with O? But if you look at it, D, from the line D, it's going straight across to O. So again, another 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle. And then wherever it intersects on this line with G to L, that is going, at that point, that is going to be O. Make sense? This is almost like connected dots at this point. So you have O. So now they're saying to create this line, which is the beginning of the crotch, the curve in the pant, you're going to match H to O. So you're just going to literally take your ruler and you're going to measure at an angle. You're going to touch O and you're going to touch H. That's how you're going to get that line. It's literally kind of connect the dots at this point. You guys see that? Everybody can see?
That's how you're going to get your sloper.
That's how you're going to get your crotch. You see that curve coming in? You see that?
Now the pants look different.
Yeah, now it's starting to look like a pant leg.
And if you're looking at your pants and how they look, it's starting to look different even in seeing it itself.
Yes.
Because you're seeing how it's dissected.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're dissecting, and literally once you get those first steps done, then everything is pretty much very easy. It's a simple series, simple measurements. And again, so now we already have this part fleshed out. You already have your crease line drawn. You already have, your crotch beginning to start. And then now, once you got H, you see this line here to go from H to M. That's finishing the pant leg, the inseam of your pant leg. What is the inseam of your pant leg? It's this line inside of your thigh. That is called the inseam. Okay. So you see, it's just a series of straight lines. Again, my video from last week, it has everything to get to this point. Okay. And then you come back and look at this, and then it'll get you complete on the pant pattern, the front pant, because we still got to create the back pant pattern. Okay. So now let me see what's next. So it says P to Q. Now this is a little bit tricky, right? P to Q. That's this measurement in here. This diagonal measurement. Let me see if I can get you guys closer. There we go. So you see this measurement here. If you can see the letters kind of close, you see P. P is right here, smack dab in the middle. How did I get this measurement? How do you get this letter to be here, right? Literally, you're going to take your ruler, and you are going to measure. You've already drawn this line here. This is your gauge from H to O. Then you're going to lay your ruler directly on that line. That's why I love the grid ruler, because you get to see through everything. So if I was to line this ruler directly up on this line here, and it wants to enter, you want to intersect with G. Let me make this clear, okay? I want you to see this little triangle right here, this little section right here. So if I lay the ruler here on the line to meet G, that's how you find P, okay? I could say it's halfway between, but I don't want to say that. You are going to measure with your ruler across this line, and you're going to bring it over until it hits G. That's going to be the line that you draw. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me show it to you here. When you're looking at this pattern, see that? This line here, down, and all I did was take my ruler. Okay, y'all, this is interesting. I didn't think I was going to be kind of showing it like this, up in the air. But I'm trying to make it work the best way I can. So let me see. If you were in a classroom, it'd be different, because you can just come up on around and see it up close and personal. But this is a different type of classroom, a virtual classroom. And so it is totally different than doing it in person. Okay, so I'm going to angle the cameras down so you guys can see. I'm trying to get you as close as we possibly can. Okay. It's falling. It's falling too far now. Okay. Okay. I think you can see. I think you can see. Girl, this is amazing, right? Yeah. Okay, so, where's I lost my ruler. Thank you very much. Can you pass me that? Thank you. Can I see? Hold on. We're looking over this way. So just make sure that you got it in this direction.
Just lift that thing up. Yeah. You lift it up.
Okay. I think we see it. I know this is a funny angle, right? Okay. So I just wanted to show you how to get this line here. We were talking about coming up with P to G to P. Okay. And it's a 45-degree angle, but really you don't even have to know what a 45-degree angle is. This line you drew from G to O, you're going to lay your ruler directly on top of that until it matches G, until it hits G. You want it to be straight across. Now, this is where I would say that a drafting ruler is important. Why? Because you can see through it. Say if you didn't have a ruler let's just take that triangle that I had, a clear triangle. Let's just take this clear triangle. Again, we're doing a straight line. This is a straight line, and you want to have it from intersecting from G. So here, you're going to lay your ruler on the line until you hit the G, and then that's when you're going to draw up. And that is how you came up, how I came up with the measurement to find P on this line. G, directly on the line. And then straight across. Again, the drafting ruler makes it so much simpler because you can see through it. You can see through everything. So yeah, but that's how we came up with that angle. Now they're saying they want you to find Q. How do you find Q? Because Q, why is Q important? Q is important because this is the depth of the crotch swing. To create your crotch curve, you need these measurements, right? So Q is 1/3 of between G to P. It's 1/3. So you're going to divide whatever that number was. Did I write it down? I think it was 2 and 7. No, that's not the right measurement. But anyway, it was 1/3. So just hypothetically, say if this was 3 inches, 1/3 of 3 inches is going to be 1 inch. Okay, you're going to divide it into a third. And so I made my mark. And then you're going to take your curve. And it tells you, oh, forgive me, we need to add R. How do you find R? R is 1/4 inch from L. So I measured over 1/4 inch. And then I matched O to R to finish the crotch in the front. So this is where your zipper is going to lay. For those of you, like your zipper right here in your pants, and whatever pants you have on, wherever your zipper, where's a button fly or whatever, this is that same line here. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it is you're looking at. Okay, so then we matched O to R. So just shift that line. So now this is actually going to be the real stitch line. This is actually going to be discarded. Okay, and so it says now we're going to match O to Q. So what I did was I took my French curve, and now if you think about it, when you were back in school, they used to talk about compasses. This is where a compass could come into play. This is, again, I'm using my French curve. I'm not sure what else could you use to kind of come up with this. Let's just take something hypothetical. Let's just take something and see what we can do here. Well, if we need to match O, Q to O, well, this might not work so well, but maybe there's something else that you can use that has a curve. Again, it's not a hard curve. It's something a little shallow. But again, you can always purchase these rulers. They're easy to get and they're inexpensive. Okay, so we matched up O to Q. And then we continued on from Q to H. So that is how we finished the crotch, and that finished off the front pant. Of course, to create that out seam, that inseam, sorry about that. Again, let me show you the finished pattern, the finished piece. Lord have mercy. Yes, I do, because this is like a little bit interesting here. But to show you the finished pattern, all the measurements have been put in place. I've already carved it out. This is a whole nother step, but this is on the next page. We haven't even gotten to this. And our time is all really almost over here. But we got the front crotch of the pant. This is again, the inseam, which is also going to be the grain line when you lay that on fabric. You have your inseam, and then you have the outer seam all laid out. Now this we haven't even added in there yet. We have not added the curve of the hip in there yet. But that's another couple of steps. And next week we'll just continue on. Yeah, because I'm like
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so okay, so it's 7:00. This has been some work, y'all.
Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for joining me tonight. We have finished the front pant pattern, the front side of the pant leg. The front side of the pant leg. And we are going to continue on next week. Well, now we have finally made it over to the next side, and we'll be finishing up the back pattern tomorrow and the waistband, so that we can hopefully get ready to go ahead and cut out a sample so we can fit and see how this block works. So, and it should be fine, right? Because again, we're talking about, we plugged in our measurements. So come back and join me next week. This has been a journey, y'all. It has been so interesting. I have enjoyed doing it, although it has been a little challenge, but I'm in it to win it. So
that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And I know what I'm talking about. So that's half the battle, right? That's half the battle. So look, I love y'all so much. Thank you for coming tonight. I pray that you're learning something, and that it will take you far. Again, if you go to my page on Facebook, Luana Michelle Miles on Facebook, it will also be on Kingdom School of Effectiveness on Facebook, as well as on Instagram if you want the video from last week. And I'll be downloading the video today to also put in place. So you can always grab that and kind of try it on your own, so that by the time you come back to class next week, you'll have done what you needed to do to get to the point that I'm at. We already at this, finished the first the front pant of the pattern of the pant. But again, it was not complicated. Probably the most complicated thing in doing this project is just making sure that you are translating, your numbers are translating. You want the measurements to be accurate. And then after your measurements are accurate, then you, again, breaking them down into fourths. It may take a little bit of refreshing, but I swear to Bob, the internet has made it really, really easy for you, right? So you can always put in what's 1/4 of in a fraction. You can put that right in Google Chat GPT. You can put it in Google. You can put your measurement in. I need 1/4 of 43 in fraction form, and it will tell you. So don't be intimidated. Paper's easy to come by. I get my paper from Home Depot. You can get it from Menards, Lowe's. It is just simple construction paper they use on construction sites. The paper they put out for, people to walk on. It's just regular paper. If you don't have, they used to have newspapers. We used to be able to use newspapers, but they don't even really have newspapers out here anymore like they used to. So you can't really use that. But again, this paper is easy to come by. And then the rulers, L squares, yardsticks, French curves. Those are the rulers that you're really going to want to have. Oh, and don't forget a tape measure, baby, because without a tape measure, you're really not going to be doing a whole lot of anything. You cannot measure around the body with a straight ruler. That ain't happening. This is important because it allows you to put your straight lines in without having to, keep going. Again, I was sharing this earlier. What if you had a couple of rulers? You got something from Family Dollar. You can tape those suckers together. You're going to wind up coming up with what? A long ruler. So make that happen for yourself. Jump on in. Join me on Sewing with Moxee, doing your own pieces from the trends. I love y'all. Thank you on behalf of Kingdom School of Effectiveness for being here, where we are taking the time to give our talents away. Just to thank God for this moment. I thank God for this moment. I'm having fun, y'all. Real talk. Because when I was doing clothing for people on a regular basis, it was not fun. I did not get a chance to really do anything for myself. And so during this class, I get to do stuff for me, which is very exciting. I get to add to my wardrobe. So I love y'all. See y'all next week.
Deuces.
Deuces.